Hi, we're Language Marketplace, a global translation service provider with thousands of loyal clients. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Literally thousands of returning clients. There are very clear and resounding reasons so many organizations trust us: quality, cost effectiveness, and personal service. These points aren't tossed around lightly. Each of them is ingrained into our process and mindset. However, this video isn't about Language Marketplace, but focuses on what we've learned over the years from our wide range of clients. From samples of their previous translations supplied by other providers, to why they ended up searching for a reliable and trustworthy translation company. The issues they had are usually related to end reader complaints and other embarrassing and costly situations on their part. A bad language translation? Top 10 reasons. This first reason occurs more with a company who is first faced with the translation dilemma, using computer translation and thinking it will do the original justice. Some companies elect to partner with translation companies that use automated translation software because of the lower price. However, cheap translations often come at a cost. The input doesn't always equal the output. Even when translating a simple sentence, an automated translation could not only fail to present the original message, it could actually result in very embarrassing word structures, and companies won't even know about them until a potential customer mentions it. Next is using someone who's not a translator. Some people believe that anyone who speaks more than one language is automatically capable of translating properly. That is not the case. Translation requires a specialized set of skills that's not always easy to find. Translators have post-secondary education in a linguistic field, and they must have an excellent knowledge of both the source and target languages they're working in. Some specialized translators have degrees in the specialized area that they translate in, such as medical, legal, etc. Before you give your trusted documents to an individual or a company, ask them about their credentials. For our third reason, using someone translating into his or her second language. Now, this is a big mistake. A professional translation requires excellent writing skills, which are first developed in the education system and then polished with experience. It's very rare for someone to become a talented writer if his or her education wasn't conducted in that language. We only use translators who translate into his or her mother tongue. Fourthly, ignoring the dialect of the intended audience. People often overlook the different dialects that are used with languages. For example, take Chinese. Do you require Cantonese or Mandarin, as they're written differently? For Portuguese, is your target audience in Brazil, Portugal, or Angola? For Spanish, is your audience in the United States, South America, or Spain? In Spain, is your audience Castilian? You need to ensure the translator doesn't produce a text that sounds foreign to the target audience. Our fifth reason for a bad translation: using someone you found on anonymous type classifieds. Now, these areas are loaded with people pretending to be translators, even using forged credentials. We've heard many stories of customers getting cheated. We couldn't fathom sending important personal or business information to a Hotmail or a Gmail account, but it happens all the time, and we hear about the consequences. Number 6. Inadequate checking and editing. It's not easy to read a sentence in one language and then accurately and naturally express that content in another. Because of the complexity involved when translating, thorough checking procedures are crucial. Inexperienced translators or even translation companies will sometimes hand over their first attempt as a final translation. The result is an unnatural translation that likely contains many mistakes. Professional translation companies like ours will use a second translator to thoroughly proofread the initial translator's final text. For our seventh reason, requesting to have translated a document you could possibly not have written in that time frame. People often underestimate the time required to translate a document. As a guideline, allow 1 hour of translation time per 200 words, and more for technically difficult texts. Then allow time for the second translator's proofreading. The tighter the deadline, the less time there is for checking, which dramatically increases the chances of omission and/or error, and is much more likely to produce a somewhat stilted final text. Reason number 8. Trusting translation agencies that use deceptive advertising. There are a wide range of translation companies offering a wide range of services. How do you know which to use when they all start to sound the same, each offering more and more? Check credentials. Are they certified to a translation standard? Are they audited to that standard? There are thousands of websites out there offering this service, but a large percentage want nothing more than to separate you from your money by giving you basically anything that resembles a translation. I can't even count how many times a new customer shows us work performed by a prior company, and it was nothing more than an instant Google translation. Our 9th reason is the good enough philosophy. Not getting material translated properly and hoping the intended audience will still understand. It's insulting to your target audience, business partners, the general public, etc. To present them with a translation that doesn't correctly reflect the meanings of the source language. Not only do you run the risk of appearing arrogant, lazy, and insensitive, it also makes you look unprofessional. If the people can't trust the language they're reading, how do you think they'll feel about trusting you? And finally, our 10th reason for a bad translation: not caring about the result. We had large multinational clients who, after years of using a disreputable translation company, found out that almost all of their translated material was almost illegible. This turned into a very large project for us, but it could have been avoided by a simple review long ago. Well, that's it, and we hope you enjoyed our Top 10.